In a recent development, the Labour Party has accused the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, that's LP, accusing NLC, of an unauthorized entry and damage of properties at its national headquarters. The party criticized Joe Ajaero, the NLC president, for his recent behavior towards workers and the government. Now, you will recall that NLC had previously instructed its members to mobilize workers and block access to Labour Party secretariats nationwide in protest of the party's upcoming national convention scheduled for March 27. A circular co-signed by the chairman and secretary of the NLC Political Commission, Titus, Amba, and Chris Uyot, also demanded the immediate resignation or removal of the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, citing alleged financial misconduct and disrespect towards Ajaero. Now, the NLC leadership also alleged that Abure was planning to hold a secret convention without the input of major stakeholders. NLC Political Commission further described the Labour Party national chairman, Julius Abure, as a drowning wannabe politrickster. Now, the Congress emphasized that the Labour Party belongs to the NLC, while stressing that Abure violated a court order on the ownership of the party. Well, Julius Abure, I beg your pardon, Joe Ajaero has been in the news lately for different issues. Even the president, pointed through a jab at him that if they want to contest election, they should wait for 2027. Is there something blowing in the wind? Is there an answer in the wind somewhere? Oh, well, we have joining us for this conversation. We still have with us in the studio Dr. Ganiu Oluwashola, Managing Partner, KJB Professional Services, and he's here in the capacity of a public affairs analyst. We also have joining us right now Mr. Olusegun Okunade, who is a public affairs analyst as well. Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Tina.
And David.
And my brother and friend. It's been a while.
Oh yes, you what now? You ran away, went abroad, went on hiatus or something.
We need to just go cool it down.
Cool it down, yeah?
The weather is quite hot.
I can imagine. Scorching. Now, another thing that is hot right now is Labour Party and NLC. A house, one would say, divided against itself.
First and foremost, I think what some of us said during the politicking and politics those days of saying NLC, LP are one sesame twins that you cannot separate. People were saying no. And we said it then that it's actually nothing bad because even in UK we have the Labour Party, so we are not against it. But the approach at which we expect NLC to be independent in their views when they are actually making some submission relating to workers who are not approached in a more professional way as it is. And that was just the idea. It reminded me of the scenario that happened in this state, in the Eastern part, when Joe Ajaero visited Imo State during the election, and we were like, or what was it there? They tried to mix the issue of workers' welfareism and the politics there. But people were not seeing the one behind. When we were saying it, they were saying, so it's clearer now. It's clearer the position of Joe Ajaero as an individual in the political landscape that we have in the country. But back to the issue of coming to attack Abure, of inconsistency and several allegations. You see, if you want to play politics, you play politics. If you want to represent the workers, you represent the workers. And as a representative of the workers, you must be seen as being unbiased. You don't play politics with workers' welfareism. We've seen a lot of politics.
This has moved away from fighting for workers now. This is the political arm of NLC trying to pitch its tent and say, look,
we own the party.
We own the party, and we don't want this individual at the head of affairs anymore. Which also points to the, excuse me, which points to the fact that there is a possibility that Joe Ajaero wants to switch from being a to be the chairman of the party. That's an accusation that Abure has put out there against him already.
David, you'll be right. I know Joe Ajaero when he was NUEE General Secretary, and we know the way and manner he plays his game. I believe being the chairman of a Labour Party will be more beneficiary than being
NLC?
Being NLC. Reason being that you are always confrontational with the government when it comes to NLC without having a good landing place. But when you talk about politics, you're looking at me. There is so much underneath the ground. The only profession that is successful, of which very soon I want to believe that my brother will soon join, is politics. So when you are in it, you understand that whatever you are seeing as an NLC person cannot be compared to being involved deeply in politics.
Now, looking at this assertion that you just pinned down, isn't that an indication that we are quite an expensive government in terms of our politicking? Isn't that a sign that because the expensiveness is the high, how am I going to put this word now?
The lucrativeness.
The lucrativeness of the politics is what this person is looking at rather than the welfare of workers. Because right now it's looking clear, just like we're seeing right now, that it's obvious that he possibly wants to go get into politics.
It's not that he possibly wants to get into politics. Even with NLC position, he's politicking. Everything is politics. But what we're trying to state here is that for Joe Ajaero and Abure, who initially brought up this, even when the other Akpata was fighting Abure, Ajaero then were behind Abure to make sure that he doesn't actually have his way. But where we are now, majority of the allegation of Akpata then are what the Joe Ajaero team or the wing of the NLC political are accusing Abure of. These are allegations of what Akpata said then. So for me, you see, when you talk about politics being lucrative, David, it's like asking me, giving me a tall order of what do we need to do. That is the only viable business everybody needs to venture into if you want to make ends meet.
All right, let me come to Dr. Ganiu now. With all these things happening, and we still have the issue of labor, organized labor, fighting for salary increase. Where does this put? I mean, can we dissociate them really? Can we dissociate the chairman of Labour Party and his ambition to be in the front line of the politics from, can we dissociate that from fighting for the workers, which is something that is biting right now, especially if you look at the fact that Labour has consistently been at loggerheads with the government calling for strikes, but never exactly going through with those strikes. With what is going on now, can there be separation of interest?
There should be separation of interest. Honestly, these are also misplacements of priorities and total distractions, right? You have a food on your table. You are yet to finish consuming the food. And you saw another plate ahead of you of what your friend is eating, and you're already eyeing the food.
Which spells greed.
Total greed, right? And because of that, it's going to lead at non-performance. What you are currently handling, you have not been successfully done it. It has not been successfully done. Then you are already put, why not allow those things to just work their own way? So once you are done, Adam Oshiomole, once he's done, he ventured into politics, right? And it becomes acceptable because you see, he's a wise guy. When you look at what is happening in the Senate, it's actually showing the activities is him. You understand? This is what makes him to have a buy-in when he goes to Edo State. For instance, now, Joe, A guy, he has not even gotten a buy-in. Nobody has given him a thumbs up. He has not successfully carried out something. He has not successfully fought for anybody. So for you to have a pre-degree, for people to buy, people should be able to say that we know this guy is going to stand for us. He has us in his mind. For now, you have not been successful. You've not actually successfully carried out any duty as even as the president. When he was coming on board, it was maybe overhyped. Just like the guy that fought with Anthony Joshua. It was too overhyped. And they said it was the brain behind Adam Oshewole when he was in government. And people were saying, oh, this guy is going to perform, or the government is in for it. And he came in and nothing is happening.
Now, Dr. Gani, I want to ask you this. Looking at when Mr. Olusegun was talking, he made mention of how matter actually, before the Abure man came in, there was a discrepancy where the party, he even went on air to talk about, there was even a court case, you know, talking about who will be the chairman of Labour Party. Now, do you think that the people who are disgruntled over the fact that they were not being given opportunity or think that they are not being treated fairly as party members now are behind these issues between NLC and the Labour Party itself?
That is politics. Politics is selfish. Even friends in politics, once they're out of politics, they can become friends again. But when they are still there, they can be so selfish. You see, and also there should also be in their law. Yeah, we know that Labour Party is part of NLC. The only person that brought this party to limelight is Peter Obi. If it's not Peter Obi, nobody will know it, right? So Peter Obi now makes the party looks as a juicy one for everybody to come. But at this point in time, you must be able to separate. There is a line difference between the chairman of the party and the president of the Labour. You are the president fighting. You see, even in the real sense, if he handles his portfolio very well, it will make a good name for himself rather than being the chairman of the party. For now, because the president is in your hands, the all Nigeria workers is in your hands. You call the shot if you're actually up to your duty. But because of misplacement of priority, greed and selfishness, you are eyeing two places at the same time. And there's a saying in my dialect that if you run after two birds at a time, you have the possibility of losing them.
All right. Now, with Julius Abure has been one of the most, one can actually say he's been one of the most talked about party chairman, one of, in recent time, right, with a lot of controversy surrounding him. His chairmanship has been in question for quite some time, from the elections up until recently. Yeah. There was this battle between Julius Abure and Lamidi Apapa. And now we have the same Julius Abure. He was arrested, you do recall, yeah, and alleged to have been in possession of guns. That was also. Now, what does this do to the position of the party as they still have elections to deal with in certain parts of the country?
You see, it's getting clearer that if you take the presidential aspirant of that party is not in existence. I will always tell you this: look at the two other parties. You must have a leader.
But the other parties are not exactly free from
They are not.
They are not. Well.
They are not free from issues. But there are people that can call the shots and call you to order when there are crises, even if you are not going to listen to them. But there will be people to say, no, this is the way to go. If you go to PDP, you can go to the former presidents to say what is happening. You will hear Baba those days telling you one or two things. You will hear Jonathan speaking. If you come to APC, there are people, Baba BCR Konde and the likes, that you can like, guys, what's going on? Give out your voice. Where, as far as this LP is concerned, the major figure, I'm not saying his role.
So does this now speak to the issue of lack of structure?
We've been saying it, but they say we don't need structure to grow things. But we're already creating confusion. This is where leadership, as this organization is, if there are no structure, there is no how you will grow. Because everybody will be doing things haphazardly. There won't be control. There must be someone, whether he has more technical know-how than you, that you need to respect because of the office. And that's why they will always tell you, for every political party that wins any election, the winner of that election becomes the party leader, either at the state or at the federal level. As we speak, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the leader of APC. Buhari was, while he was there, controlling the affairs of things. And I have asked myself, since I saw these issues within LP and NLC, what is the position of Mr. Peter Obi to like call the shot? You cannot move or succeed without it. You see, the picture the Gen Z generation are portraying is that no structure of corruption and all the likes. No, in every setting there must be a structure, and there must be people you look up to. I will tell you, people will tell you that NSAS was successful, but do you know there was no structure? It's a lie. There were people behind the scene, not really known to individual, that were coordinating the affairs of things. So you thought the issue of the money being raised via crypto and all those things was just something people were doing. People were coordinating behind the scene, but were not too visible. And I want to believe the same should happen. LP is a party I consider as coming up that can be a formidable opposition to the current administration and even PDP in some states. But I am not seeing them playing that role. After the last election, Edo gubernatorial election is coming. What role are they playing? We are fighting internal wherever, not concentrating on other things. Ondo is coming up. Are you hearing about? We are hearing more of PDP and APC in those two states, at least to the best of my knowledge. So that's where structure comes in to say, okay, we can be having problem at the national level, but there must be a leader to say, see, guys, don't let's lose focus. Part of the things is that we have a governor. How can we do it in such a way that we can have two? And I must give it to Abia State Governor. Oti is trying his best. At least giving the perspective to say, if you give us opportunity more, we can do better. But the central is not holding. And you are not looking for a way to even galvanize more.
The senators from the party have even been accused of being bad ambassadors of the party because they have participated in the largesse at the assembly. How does that make you feel?
No, you see, when you get in there, see this when I see individuals on social media fighting themselves, I laugh, and that's why I will not fight anyone. I keep saying it. The day they said, no, we now have LP, there will be strong opposition to all these our corrupt leaders and this. I was on a particular and I said, let's wait and see. And when the issue of the 160 million vehicle came, I was asking them, no, Sheson, you are too hasty to conclude. I said, now, where are we? How many of the opposition party followed Nengi when he raised the allegation? How many? In fact, I saw a member of opposition party, NNPP, coming up to say that Nengi must be dealt with. And I said, where is the place of hope? David, if you are criticizing government today, I will put you there.
Is David.
Okay.
I understand it's Bible.
Both of you, okay. Moses, David.
Biblical.
Moses, you see, if you are in there today, we only give you a little time to see the real person in you. When it comes to politics, they always fight when there is an issue that is not favoring them together. But when there is something coming together, they are all one. Everybody has gotten the vehicle. They are driving it and going up. Nobody will oppose anyone. As a matter of fact, they are looking for the next level of what will come to them. The issue of constituency allowance that is coming to them. Have you seen anyone refuting it? I'm sure they will call them and say, oh, but if you have to be, so you get in law so that you can bring something home. Otherwise, the next election, people are already saying that they may not have opportunity to come and recontest. I said, it's not going to work. They will come back and even win on the platform of a Labour Party in their constituency. Again and again.
All right. Now, talking about, having the interest of the people, having issues, even among the people who have already clinched the position being in the Senate. Pat Utomi called Labour Party and I'm talking about the Labour Party chairman and NLC president to order, telling them to hold, because one of the things Joe Ajaero talked about was that Abure was planning on organizing, what's it called, a secret convention without him. You know, and they said that actually should not be done. And that was actually what led to them coming up with placards and blocking their headquarters in Otaku. Now to you, Dr. Ganiu, do you think that pausing this convention that's supposed to be on the 27th of March will help Labour Party put their house in order, as Mr. Sheson talked about, to be able to get the seats that they needed to get in Edo State or in Ogun State, in Ondo State, yeah?
When you look at, you talk about structure. So even, because I think the major issue they have is just like Labour Party just came to limelight too fast.
But the party had that.
It has been bet dozer, just dozer. It's just like what happened to the fire that said that there's no water. So it has been so docile. Nobody is looking towards the major party is PDP, APC. So it just come overnight. They just shoot up. You see, there's a saying that if charisma can get you to the top, but if you don't have a well-bred attitude, you will come down again. You see, the only man that's all the party today as we speak is Peter Obi. And it's because of integrity, his pedigree, things that people have known. Everybody that comes into power, it's on his platform, right? And because of that, I think because they pulled so much strength at that time, they should have quickly worked out some structure. How do we separate ourselves from the Labour Party, from the NLC? At what point in time should we have an handshake? This should be, because as we speak now, the NLC president still assumes that the chairman must report to him because he is the president. I assume that. So for you going out to do something without my information, that is we call it, that is being insubordinate. So we are going to call you to order.
I want to find out. I've heard both of you talk about presidential aspirant of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, not saying a word. Is his statement going to, this first question, is his statement going to in any way douse down all of this tension? Because let's also put to forward here, the Labour Party chairman, that's in person of Abure, have been accused of misappropriation of funds from the last presidential election, which was, of course, donated by well-meaning Nigerians. Now, if funding is an issue in a party that we know is about gaining its ground as a result of this one man, is this one man still a factor for the party to stay together and not go the way they've been going amongst themselves?
You will know how powerful leadership is. When Buhari was in government, without saying anything, body language. You see, people saw his body language, and you see a lot of things are happening with body language. You understand? Leadership is more powerful. Leadership calls the shots. If a leader is quiet, it's assumed an approval, right? A leader just to say a word can tweak a lot of things, or calling for a meeting. But keeping quiet will not solve a matter, right? Because as we say that, it's just like I saying that a house divided against itself. Do you get it? So as it is now, there must also be an you see, this is an internal buaha that needs to be put in place. We need to put a structure. Where is the NLC president? Where is his authority stopping? The chairman of the NLC, where does he have his limit? Everybody must have their limit. But as we speak now, the chairman of NLC is operating as the chairman of any other party. PDP, the chairman of the party is the alpha and omega of the president. He only responds to the president on the table, right? So this is how it's working. And you could see that NLC is a peculiar party that is not the naturally the party should be for the welfare of the citizen. That's how the party is. The party, anybody coming out for it, his main agenda is to ensure that no Nigerians suffer. Right? That is the essence of the party. That's why the party has been docile for a long time. I think it's high time for him to call these people to order, because if not, it's going to affect his presidential ambition in the next. Now, and if he thinks, you know, there was a time they said that, oh, NLC, PDP, and another party, they are merging together. So if they are merging together and they are forming another party, in so much that they are not going to use NLC name, they are not going to use LP. They are not going to use LP name. They are not going to use PDP, and they are not going to use NNPP. They are going to come up with another name. It's so well, so NLC will go back to where it was.
Now, that was I was going to come to that question. I was going to ask you that question. That we also, but let me switch to Mr. Okwade now. Now, we've looked at Peter Obi as the leader of the party due to the structure in Nigeria. But let's also look at how he went to the party in the first place. It wasn't ordinarily where he would have wanted to be, but situation led him to go to the party at the time that he did. It was really close to elections, but he found himself there. And the pedigree of the man worked for him. Now, with that in mind, the man also did say, let's be fair, he did say that he doesn't know everybody in the party. When he came to Lagos to campaign for Gbadebo Roads Vival, he said, this one I can vouch for. I can't vouch for everybody in the party. Which just tells you that, look, he doesn't know the nitty-gritty of each person in the party, because he hasn't been with the party members for quite a long time. So there are people that he met on ground doing the things that they were doing, which of course might, he might not agree to, but the party had a structure before he got in there. So would he now come and try to rejig it? Is that something that he can easily do? That's one. Secondly, as Ganiu, went tilted towards the angle of the formation of another party. Do you think Peter will be with Atiku and those have been talking about forming a formidable opposition against the APC? Do you think there's a possibility that they would ride under whatever it will come from Labour Party and maybe and the PDP as well?
To the first question, you see, when you come out, this you're saying it's over a year. I was during last year, February, even before February, I think 2022, we started the campaign processes before we now came in February 2023 to have the election. And you have more than a year. If indeed you have the interest of that party at hand, there are certain things that you must have been putting in place. You don't know them, but they worked for you to that height to get you where you are. And you don't know them. They worked for him. Labour Party, if those guys have actually divided themselves, Labour Party will not be anywhere. If this issue that we are faced with as we speak happened around January 2023, they wouldn't have gotten the support that they got therein. They were united as a formidable party to challenge because of that man. So that man must not use that influence to say, guys, these are things that I met on ground. These are things we need to structure. Whether we are going to consolidate to form coalition with other parties to challenge the opposition, we must be seen, identified with one particular thing before we go to that particular area. And that's what is lacking here. Okay. It's not giving a direction. So when you go to that second question of saying coming together to form, look at when ACN, CPC, and one other party came to form this APC. There were ideologies. And we have the arrowhead which was ACN then. And Bola Tinubu played a prominent role in making sure that this work. As we speak, I'm not saying that pivotal, someone I can call the head who will play that pivotal role
in making sure,
that coalition work. As at then, because if those things must come in place, I can tell you for free, the PDP aspirant for this last election is still nursing the ambition to come out. Mm-hmm. But during ACN, CPC, and the other party, I think they were using in that period. I can't remember. It's from the southeast. I think it was Rochas that was there that period. What they did was to say, Asiwaju, you will be the leader. We are projecting this person, which was Buhari, and we'll see the best that we can maximize. That is the game plan in it. I am not seeing anyone in the three parties.
Unfortunately, we are pressed for time, so we have to
give that direction.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up this conversation now and move on to the very next one. Now, up next, House of Reps pass bill for upward review of judicial officers' salaries and other remuneration. Let's talk about this one when we come back.